everybody, and welcome back to another creepy story time. So, in my last video, I was telling you guys about how I grew up in a pretty much haunted neighborhood. And in this neighborhood, there were places that I didn't really like to go. So our neighborhood was pretty much one long strip of road, and then there's houses on either side of the road, and it had one stoplight at the end of the road. I grew up in a place called North River, and that seems like it would be the name of a town, but it was just this long strip of road. Now, the stoplight at the end of this road is the place I didn't like to be. When I would get to this spot, I would always hope that the light was green so that I could go straight through. So the intersection was not a four-way intersection, it was like the T shape. So if I was coming from North River, I could keep going straight into town, and on the left was a road that led down east. Now on the side of the road that went straight, right at the stoplight, there was also a really big cornfield that would grow over there. Also at this light, there would be a lot of car accidents. Like, you come through any given time and there'd be a car in a ditch or rolled over. I always hated being at this spot in the dark, so if I had to leave North River, after we moved out, I would always try to leave in the daytime. So this story is part my granddaddy's story and part my story. The first part involves my granddaddy. So my granddaddy ran the streets. I'll go ahead and say it. He ran around, and one night he ended up stopping at this light, and there were three women at the light, and they were supposedly really pretty, and they were standing outside of the cornfield, and they were looking for a ride. So of course, my granddaddy, being the gentleman that he is, tells the ladies to get on in the car. So he tells them to get on in the back seat, and one of the ladies reaches forward and puts her hand on the door. So the windows roll down, and she reaches in and she puts her hand on the door. And when she puts her hand on the inside of the door to open the door up, her hand is pretty much melted away. It's like skeleton and muscle and bone, like just on the door. And he sees this. So of course, when he sees her hand, he looks up at her face, and their faces are pretty much doing the same things, like being distorted, not beautiful anymore. So he gets scared, and he like hits the gas, and he's flying home to my grandma, and like runs home, locks the door, and jumps in bed and does not come out for the rest of the night, right? Yeah, he tells my grandma what happened, and of course she thinks it's hilarious because he shouldn't have been out there like running the streets, so she's like laughing at his fear, right? So whenever I'm in this same area, I always get like a feeling of getaway. Like, I never want to look over into the cornfield when the corn is high, because I've always had like a sensitivity to certain things, and I just don't like to be around it. But one night I'm driving that way, and I see the light, and the light is red, and I have to stop. Why the light is red, I have no idea. There were no other cars on the road. I was the only one out there, but I'm sitting at this light, and I'm thinking about how I know, like, ghosts. I've heard stories, like ghosts or whatever you want to call it, they will try to hitch rides, right? So that's what the ladies were doing to my granddaddy. They were trying to hitch a ride. After a while, the light turns green, and I start driving home, but I have like this really bad feeling that's saying to me, whatever you do, don't look in the rearview mirror. So I'm like driving straight home, and I was kind of upset because I was thinking about all the good sleep I had been getting since we moved out of the neighborhood. I'm like, and now I've stayed after dark, and I've got something in my car. Like, I already knew that something was gonna happen. I didn't know if it was gonna come in the house with me, or if it was gonna stay in the car, or what it was gonna do, like the intentions of it, or anything like that, right?